portfolio track. So it's a cover by Foo Fighters called My Hero. It was recorded by one of Hatman's friends who recorded in the other songs as well. So what we're just gonna have to do, what we're gonna do is just have a little listen to the track, and then we'll be talking about obviously the static mix, signal to noise ratio, DBFS, dynamic range, headroom, EQ, compression, effects used, the Melodyne, automation, what went well, what didn't, and obviously what can be improved. So I'm just gonna give you a little play, and then we can have a little talk about it.
Take your pictures down, take it out. Truth or consequence, say it aloud. Use that evidence, race it around. There goes my hero.
Alright, cool. So then we got a little listen to it there. Right, so let's move on. Let's go straight to the static mix. So the static mix, what I've basically done in this track is really the guitars I've left sort of the same sort of level, especially like the first sort of guitar playing here. I've just dropped it down by 1.2. Same with the others as well. Same sort of volume, only really taking it down by 1 decibel. This one I've taken it down by just 0.8. The vocals,
Take your pictures down,
so the vocals on the left, I've taken it down by 1.6, and then
consequence, say it aloud.
the double track on the right, I've taken it down
Use that evidence,
by 2.4.
race it
Obviously panned them both,
around.
so one to the left, one to the right.
There goes my
The reason why I dropped the right one down
Watch him
a
as
bit more
he
than the left
goes.
was because it was recorded a bit more louder, so I just obviously didn't want one that sounding too loud than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like,
There goes my
yeah.
hero. He's ordinary.
okay, so because it's an acoustic track as well, there's not many things going on. So it's an acoustic sort of cover version. So yeah, let's move on to the signal sounds. Signal to noise ratio. So I haven't used any gates on this. So really, I'd say noise-wise, I've got most of the noise really away by cutting all of the bits that he didn't sing, that he wasn't singing in. So really, I've got the noise away from there. So the DBFS, really, the song as a whole is I think it's quite a quiet song. Again, on the dynamic range, it's quite a quiet sort of song overall. Headroom, playing the track, I've got quite a lot of headroom on all my sort of channels. I have put a limiter on, as I usually do, just on the main sort of output. Really, I don't think maybe it is needed, but it's just there just in case it does peak. But as it is an acoustic, I didn't want it just obviously incredibly loud. It just had no reason. Do you know what I mean?
There goes.
So yeah, right. Let's talk about the EQ. So the EQ on the guitar, again, we've got the parametric Logic EQ using as my corrective EQ. So I've got 2 of them on. This one just getting some of the dirt out, some of the obviously of like the sides, the low and the high, and then 500 hertz, because it was recorded live, like for just one microphone. I think it was recorded for a Shure SM57. Oh no, it was recorded through the one. Actually no, recorded through one of the condenser microphones that we use for the vocals. So yeah, and just some signals that unwanted signals that I just didn't want. So if we listen, and I boost a couple of them. So this, so I just didn't like that sound. Just drop it down by about 5. Pretty much the same with this. If I raise some of them, just sounds that I just didn't really want to hear. Just was just unneeded and unwanted. So yeah, we go on to, obviously this is my creative EQ. Again, I'm using the Tube Tech. I do love the Tube Tech. Tube Tech's one of my favourite EQs I've used on Logic so far. So this is really giving the body, do you know what I mean? Changing some of the settings around, you can really hear the difference. I quite like that. I think it's an alright sort of setting. With the other guitars, it's pretty much the same, if I'm honest with you, because it was all recorded on the same guitar for the same microphone in the same room. So literally all the other EQs are literally identical. They're exactly the same. So I won't talk about the other guitars. With the vocals, again, all I've done is just literally left it as sort of raw as I can. Got rid of some of the dirt from the low end and the high end, taken out the 500 hertz because again, just don't want that. Just doesn't sound nice. Other sounds as well, like I've dropped out as well. So from 950 hertz, just some little sort of high end sounds that I wasn't too keen on. Drop it out by about 4 dB, and that should be cool. Again, I've used. Oh no, this is on the compression. I'll talk about that later. So yeah, that's pretty much all the EQing that I've done on the channels so far. The same with the double track. It's the same sort of EQ because it was just recording in the same room with the same mic. So compression. So the guitars I've not compressed at all because they're all acoustic. Just didn't see any point. Didn't bother. So the only compression I've used is on the vocals, as we can see here. So if we just literally play some of the vocals. As you can see, both vocals have got the same sort of compression settings on. Again, I've used minimal compression, really, because I just didn't want it, because it's an acoustic. Because it's an acoustic, I just didn't want it to sound too over-compressed. I wanted it to sound as raw as possible. So I probably could put maybe a little bit more compression on if I'm honest, but I think at the moment it sounds pretty good. I like it. I think it sounds good. So yeah. There goes my hero. He's ordinary. So that's the compression. The effects I've used, I've made 2 auxiliary channels, 1 reverb, 1 delay, using the Space Designer. This time I've reduced the volume down quite a bit because the reverb was quite prominent, and obviously this is the reverb channel. I've put it up quite a bit. I think maybe turn it down a bit, something like that, because it is quite dominant, I think, the reverb. And then the other auxiliary channel is obviously the delay designer as well, just literally not too much delay because it just sounds like an echo. We don't want that, so I've put it as minimal as possible so it sort of can be heard, but then it sounds like it's sort of a bounce back in a way. So it's on this channel, and again I've put in sending how much I want to that auxiliary channel. So really sort of 13 is I think sufficient enough and sounds good. The other effects on the guitar, now because it was acoustic, if we had more time I probably would have maybe double tracked it. We didn't have enough time, so we just recorded obviously just 1 guitar. I didn't think it sounded very fulfilling, so I put a sample delay on it. It's just a little trick that I've used before, basically where I delay it from one side, usually the right, not massively like that. Obviously you can really hear the delay, do you know what I mean? So literally I've just delayed it just by a bit. And if I turn it off, you can hear the difference. It just sounds like, it sounds quite sort of front. What you mean? It sounds like you're just hearing it from the front. I feel with the delay on it gives it some sort of like surround, and the sound sort of, you know what I mean, emerges you, and it gives you some sort of like, in a way, without panning it and double tracking it, do you know what I mean? It gives you a little bit of sort of double track in a way, but obviously delay, which I like. I think it's a really, really good effect. I've used it on some of my other tracks as well. So yeah, I really do. Yeah, it's a good effect that I use. That's about all the effects I've used so far. Well, on the whole track. So let's quickly move on and talk about the Melodyne. So I only use the Melodyne just on the vocals. Mainly use the Melodyne sort of on the, you know what I mean, the pitch, using the correct pitch, like obviously on here. You know what I mean, not all the way. I didn't really use pitch drift, that didn't really do much, so I just usually stuck to the pitch sort of correction. There is some bits though, there is some bits where I've done manually. Let me see if I can find some, because I have to admit, sometimes when listening to the tracks, you know what I mean, the Melodyne can only do so much, and it might drag it out, the note out, where it's really sort of been sung as sort of in two notes, so it's going from maybe like, you know what I mean, a C to a B, or you know what I mean, a D to a D flat, do you know what I mean? So I might have moved some stuff around, but apart from that, it's very sort of, yeah, Melodyne sort of pitch correct it quite a bit, and you can sort of in a way hear that could be maybe improved, so we can talk about that later on in like improvements and stuff. I'm trying to see if I can find maybe an example of where I've manually, maybe just a little bit there. So those two notes there. I think there is more, because I definitely did move some stuff around. There we go. So something like here, something like here.
Kudos, my hero.
Do you know what I mean? Like it, especially that note there. If I move that maybe slightly down,
Kudos, my hero.
just sounds a bit off. So leaving it where it was or moving it up a little bit usually sort of fixes it out. Do you know what I mean? Keeping the note in that A.
My hero.
Oh, hang on, it's gone. Yeah, so there is other bits, I think, where I have maybe moved it around manually. But yeah, no, there's a lot of it. A lot of it's done obviously by Melodyne, and I am grateful for that. Yeah. And pretty much the double track is pretty much the same, if I'm honest with you. I'm trying to find, there must be more, or I've actually, no, there isn't. Jeez, I am one lazy person. Yeah, so something like here. So one sec.
Don't the best of them bleed it out.
Yeah, so sort of that note there, do you know what I mean? Dragging it down, it just didn't sound right, really, if I'm honest with you. Do you know what I mean? So when I do pitch correct it, if I drag it, obviously correct the pitch, you know what I mean? It would just, oh no, it won't. So yeah, no, but originally it was sort of there, so I can move it down if I'm honest with you, and we can play it and listen to it. Yeah, no, I think it just sounds a bit more sort of better there.
Don't the best of them bleed it out.
Yeah, I can hear it. I think it sounds better there. So yeah, they're really the best examples I can sort of show you. Apart from that, it's a lot. Yeah, talking later on in the improvements, I'll talk a lot about obviously what I want to improve, and this is one of them. So yeah, no, that's the Melodyne that I've used on the track, especially for the vocals. Yeah. So automation, I don't think I did do any automation, so there isn't any automation to talk about. So no. So yeah. So what went well? I think what went well, recording the vocals was very good. Like, I think, you know what I mean, and I think the use of my effects as well, like obviously the buses and stuff, not as good as my other tracks like Head Rush. I think the way I've used the different sort of like the double tracks, I've put one obviously, so this one's obviously got reverb and that one's got delay on. I think on the Head Rush it sounds I think it sounds better. Maybe I could do some more work on that, do you know what I mean? I love the way I've used the sample delay as well. Like, I think that went well. Like, it worked very good on the guitars. Recording it was quite easy. It was a bit of a rush though, but if I had more time, I would definitely double track the guitars, just to give it a little bit more sort of, little bit more sort of, do you know what I mean? Bit more power in the guitars really, as an acoustic track. There is, I think I have put, yeah, I forgot to mention, I did put some reverb on the guitars. You can't massively hear it that much, but it is there. So, I mean, it's bare minimum if I'm honest with you. So, I mean, it's on -6, so it's just literally just giving it some warmth really, and just giving it some little bit of sort of backbone really. But yeah, what didn't yeah, really, Melodyne. I mean, the Melodyne could be totally improved. Again, like there's some notes which do sound very sort of, they need to be moved and manually moved. Again, so what can be improved? Just I think the Melodyne, and double tracking the guitars, definitely. And apart from that, I think that's it. So yeah.